let's talk about menopause. Let's talk about menopause. It's me, Megan Jo Wilson, head ringleader in the House of Rockstar. So excited to be here with my friend, colleague, Rockstar graduate, the queen of menopause reclamation, Jo Visser. How are you?
I'm great. Love that intro. Thank you.
Yes. You are the queen. Jo is a sister co-active coach. We're trained in the same coaching model, facilitator, a teacher of many years, and so passionate about talking about perimenopause and menopause. So let's start there. Why is talking about this taboo subject so important?
Precisely because it is taboo.
Amen.
And actually, it's really fun to talk about taboo subjects. At least that's what, I mean, ever since I was a kid, busting through the taboos, being a little bit shocking, being a little outrageous, is actually very healing because it releases the charge and it starts to dispel the myths and the taboos and the bullshit. And it actually frees people.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about it, other people think, okay, it's safe to talk about it.
And it's such a relief.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's such a relief.
Yeah.
I love the idea and the truth that shame can't exist when we talk about it,
That's right.
when we shine light on it, and when we make it public. And you've been studying this for a while and bringing women together to talk about it. What are some of the shame narratives that you notice women carry around this?
The shame around their bodies.
Yeah.
Which includes shame around kind of sexuality and their sensuality. Their bodies are changing. Their reproductive organs are changing too. And there's a whole kind of shame and taboo around that. Right. And there's the weight gain, but then there's also the kind of emotional, psychological, where you are, it's a bit like perimenopause is like adolescence in that sense. It's just the other end. So there's the emotional highs and lows, the psychological highs and lows. And so women get labeled as bitchy or what the hell's wrong with you, when actually you're just kind of waking up to, well, what the fuck's really important in my life? What really matters? So there's all this stuff kind of coming at you. And so there's the shame around the emotions of it.
Yeah. It's so true, right? It's like, I mean, first of all, let's just acknowledge that women are, from the moment we come into the world, we're trained to be ashamed of our bodies.
Yeah.
In every possible way. But you add aging into the mix, the greatest sin of all.
Yes.
Is to age.
Yes. To
have wrinkles, to be aged in any way.
Yeah.
And we're taught that when we're over the hill, like that's the end of it. Then you become invisible and you're a crone. And then on top of that, when this veil, the tolerance for bullshit gets lessened, and the cultural story we carry around that is exactly as you said, like you're bitchy, you're out of control, you're hormonal.
Yeah.
You're just having a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. There used to be this like a cartoon, which is not so funny, but it was this saying, I'm low on estrogen and I have a handgun. Any questions? You know, and I think we're beyond that now. Like I think we're beyond that, you know, and it's more like, no, I'm in a certain point in my life. I'm in the autumn of my life.
Yeah.
Which is a very rich and actually inspiring place to be if we can stand in that perspective that it is a rich and fulfilling, potentially incredible part of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's not just about being hormonal.
Yeah, so well said. And in the name of talking about what's taboo and transparency and doing this thing that you teach women to do, how are you experiencing and living through menopause? Like, are you able to stand in that empowered perspective?
I am every day. It's a learning to stand in that perspective and to
Right.
embrace it. And I noticed things like I'm 53 now and 51. All of a sudden, something turned on a dime. And it was, okay, the libido isn't what it was on the turn of the dime.
Yeah.
The body started to feel different. My head started to feel different. Started needing these. And I used to see all my older female friends, in restaurants, and you're kind of like, oh, it's awfully dark in here. And why don't they make the menus bigger? And I kind of go, ha, 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 would you like me to hold that for you? Would you like me to read that to you? Now it's me going,
Now it's you.
awfully dark in here. Like,
Yeah.
the hell, why don't they? And so it's those kind of subtle things that start like that. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're in it. And, the irregular periods and it's all of that, and there's a medical, what can I say, system out there that still feels pretty antiquated
Oh yeah.
in terms of how it looks at women. It always has been what's felt to me very antiquated in how it looks at women's reproductive health. I went into nursing a million years ago because I wanted to be a midwife, because I thought women got a shit deal when they delivered their babies.
Oh, big time.
Because it was an antiquated system. It's changing somewhat. It has changed, but not completely. Then I'm at the other end of this spectrum of this arc. And when I go see my, OBGYN for my 8 minutes,
Right.
it's very, very difficult to talk about our bodies and what's really going on, and everything just wants to be medicated or snipped.
Right. Okay, so like give us so like my libido's down, I need glasses, I can't see the menu, my tolerance for bullshit is lessened,
Yes.
I'm getting clearer about what I want, I care less about what people think.
Yes.
How do you, when those real things are happening, how do you use that to how do you stay in your power?
By talking about it. By talking about it with other women.
Yeah.
I stay in my power in actually knowing and trusting this is actually a rich time in my life.
Yeah.
I stay in my power in knowing that I'm still vibrant. I stay in my power in knowing that there's a hell of a lot more beyond. Like, I've got a lot more years.
Right.
And so it's like, what do I want to do with those years? And to know, because where we are at this point in our lives and where we are in society, we do live longer. And there is the message that, life does not end, and that there's a whole other chapter. So I stand in the possibility of what's exciting about what could this bring? What are the gifts? And it is about actually looking at, so what is the gift of what seems to be like adversity?
Right.
What's the opportunity here and what seems to be difficulty?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what that awakens in me too is like, well, if I can talk about this and normalize it and then educate myself, like, well, what can I do if my libido's down? Well, I can accept it. I can embrace it. I can approve of it.
Yes.
And how can I reignite it if that is my desire?
Exactly.
How do I, in a restaurant, say like, let me get my glasses?
Exactly.
Don't I look hot in my glasses?
Exactly. Like, they become an accessory, an interesting prop.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's got a whole wild collection of like, oh, Jill, what are you wearing today? I love those.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it is about celebration. It is definitely about celebration in sisterhood.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's the talking about
Yeah.
it. It's the sharing and the humor. Oh my God. How do I stand in power? With a hell of a lot of humor. One needs to have a really good sense of humor about themselves.
Yeah.
For sure.
And there's nothing better than women getting together and telling the truth and laughing about it. And it's so interesting. I mean, I think part of this is the circles that I hang with.
Yeah.
I brag. But in my experience, when When I'm circled up with women who are older than me, and I'm
Yes.
44 now, I think, yes, 44. And the women who are older than me, the messages that I receive from them are like, oh, it only gets better.
Yes.
I love being 50.
Yes.
I love it. I'm wise. I still have energy. I don't give a
Yes.
shit what people think about
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's kind of the model that I see anecdotally and on the individual, which is so
Yes.
odd because
Yeah.
it's in such contrast to the
To
stories we're told culturally.
exactly. It's the kind of the cultural conditioning that so if there's this like yourself. I mean, I have been blessed all my life to have been surrounded by women, uh, often by older women, and I have found myself in tribes of incredible women friends and colleagues. And I've always been outspoken and bold and outrageous, so I've always been able to have those conversations, and I've always found myself in the company of other women, and
Yeah.
we have those conversations, and that is extremely liberating. And I've always versed myself in second. I used to read my mother's, Gloria Steinem and Germaine Greer and all those gals, and I've always found great solace and comfort
Yeah.
in that wisdom, and in the love and support and community of other women.
Yeah, and this is primarily what you're doing these days. You
Yes.
bring women together to have conversations about menopause, and not just to talk about it, but to rewrite the narrative, to be intentional about how we want to stand
Mhm.
as radiant leader
Yes.
aging women.
Yes.
Um, what happens? Like, what do you notice in the women you work with? What shifts for them when they start doing this?
There's a relief.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can say that. Oh, you too. And oh my God, don't you? And so there's a recognition,
Yeah.
and there's a deeper connection.
Yeah.
And and then it's like a bit, as you would say, that if she can, I can.
Yeah.
That starts to happen. And so there's this lovely support that takes place, and a holding up,
Yeah.
and a lightening.
Yeah.
It's like lighten the load, and a full permission to speak,
Yeah.
to change the perspective, to get rid of stuff that no longer suits you, to explore things that you're curious about. Um, there's a freedom, there's a liberation.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. And I know that's been true for me, and the ripple effect of that. It's hard to measure, but it's
Yes.
the way that we relate to ourselves, right? If I'm relating to myself from an empowered place, my 7-year-old daughter is going to see that.
Yeah.
My partner is going to see that.
Yeah.
He's going to see it in the way I um, love myself, in the way that I
Mm-hmm.
express my desires, in the way that I ask for what I
Yes.
need,
Yeah.
in the way that I can, and other men and women in my life that I can educate them and make
Exactly.
requests of them, and sort of challenge, you know, the ways that those old stories come up.
Mm.
So I think what you're doing is so profound and so important.
Yeah.
Uh, and we have, you know, I know in America, well, I think Western culture in general, we really spurn aging, and
Oh,
like
we do.
the wisdom of
Yeah.
people who have lived longer than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
anyway, I just acknowledge you for your commitment and courage in
Thank you.
speaking to this super important subject for women. Um, I know that uh, Joe brings together women regularly for sometimes for like a 60-minute kind of free hang. Let's talk. Let's just
Yep.
gather.
Yep.
Um, I know you're right in the middle of your 8-week inspired
Yeah.
course,
We're coming
and
to the end of it. Yep.
and running inspired particularly for women in perimenopause and menopause.
Yeah.
So for any of you women who are watching, who are like me, who are like, oh my God, is it here? Is it coming? What's happening?
If you think it is, it probably is.
If you think it is, it is. Or if you're a woman who's like, oh yeah, I'm in it. Or even if you're a woman who's like, I've been through it and I want to share this wisdom
Yes.
with other women coming through, I really want you to follow, connect, message Jo, check out what she's offering. Anything else you want to, any other invitations you want to make, Jo?
It's just, come join the conversation. It's about using our perimenopausal, menopausal stories to basically change our perimenopause and menopause narrative to become leaders in our own lives.
Yes, goddess. Yes. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being a model of what's possible for so many of us. And I can't wait to see what unfolds. And I hope anyone who's watching just connects and joins your mission so we can all take it higher and change the narrative of the perimenopausal woman.
Yes.
Love you
Amen.
so much. And thanks to
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mwah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.